Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Weekend Frivolity! Oh, Carlene's asking us to ring her bell. Now you've got my attention. Having lots of fun on the TRI website, hanging out with the OGers. Of course, we had fun with a little cryptocurrency that one of our principal CTO, Sjord, got super excited about. And we kind of mentioned it to the community, and it did pretty well through the weekend. So we got a lot of people at TRI who are pretty happy, including one lady in particular. And of course, I ask you to ring her bell on a continual basis, and so I guess her bell has just been rung. What do they say? A teacher says every time you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings. So, score! Who can tell me what movie that's from? Actually, that's pretty seasonal, right? That's just about exactly the right time of year for that line. Anyway, welcome back to thank you, Cheryl. Oh, you guys are so smart. Welcome back to the Frivolity. This is another episode of As the Crazy Markets Churn. Oh, my little breadth indicator is not very happy here. I wonder why. Might have to, every time I resize these screens, they sometimes the picture changes a bit. There we go. That's a little better. As you can see from TRI's dashboard, we're kind of getting sort of settled in to a bit of a routine. I've had this same dashboard up for quite a few of our recent public offerings and public discussions. So you kind of sort of see a rhythm to what I do and what I'm sort of looking at in the market. Probably the a crazy awesome guy talks, hardly. Hey, I'm just talking for my pals here. Shane. That's Shane right there, and that's Andrew right there. I know you guys on YouTube, you can't see that on these Google Hangouts. They let you put a picture on your background. And I've got a funny picture. Actually, I could probably show it on the Hangout. This is my background that everybody sees. Let's see what happens to the YouTube page. Actually, I don't think anything changes because that's the Hangout and I'm recording this page. Forget it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so everybody in the Hangout. One of the benefits of being a member of TRI is you get to see the funny background images Brian has for his video. But Julian's sending me a camera here shortly, so I think I have to get the camera working on YouTube videos soon. Anyway, I often do these weekend shows just after the level 1 program, so that's why it's sort of a funny start and not really any major sort of structure to these weekend shows. Sometimes they start a little later, sometimes a little earlier. The point is to simply make the level 1ers feel like they've just gotten absolutely insanely ridiculous value for their money spent. I keep saying the same damn thing over and over and over, and I hope you hear that reoccurring message. I'm obsessed with people feeling like they're not getting ripped off, that they actually feel like, wow, you know what, this was actually a really good use of my hard-earned money. So, if you do decide to consider joining the program in the future, you'll be on the other side of the fence, and you'll be posting the questions in the follow-up document in class. See me going, okay, awesome job, Wick. And, I got to say, Grimm's turned into one hell of an instructor himself. I can understand why there aren't that many questions, because, man, he's getting really good at his craft. And that's half of the reason why I kind of get all people to sort of participate in the daily briefs and producing these shows and in the instructors. It's really, ideally, I want you to use TRI as a growth platform to work on your sort of public speaking skill set. And, the information is universal. Ironically enough, in this crazy game, trading, investing, nothing ever is really reinvented. It's all the same shit. If I dig deep enough, I could probably find references to half the stuff I'm going to tell you about today that people are like, "Oh, look at this crazy little tool I've discovered," and stuff. Well, now it turns out that 100 years ago, people were doing the same thing, just all on paper, whatever. The information itself, really, I think it's the universe's information. The information is all just sort of sitting out there. It's this weird thing where we as humans, we have to uncover it. Nobody's given us the rule book. So we got to plod along, and then somebody discovers something that could fundamentally change our society. And, the evil capitalists come and put a lid on it and keep it bottled up, and no, we can't let that happen. And they tax it. If we're really, really lucky, this little information feed, like I said, there was somebody that actually posted, go look through the Broiler Chicken Show, man. I was stunned. Last time we had a school program start, I guess, was back in September or something like that. And we had a raffle, and I think the raffle was, I just wanted you to post, what did you think of the program? Did you learn anything from the program? And this one guy, the guy's like rocket scientist, so it makes sense. He's like, I'm working on a doctoral dissertation here. I've got this blockchain project over here. And I'm just having fun just watching you on the side. And his notes is like a bibliography of how to trade. It's just incredible. So, if we're really lucky, these videos survive and people just sort of stumble upon them and go, holy shit. Because I would prefer to give this information away for free. I've told you guys before, it's actually not in your best interest to get this information for free. Because then that's the value you put on it. And you're like, well, so what? I won't follow the rules. I didn't pay anything for that guy, that course. So anyway. So consider this, edutainment, all that kind of fun stuff. But I'll tell you, if you mind this feed like that gentleman did, I think we really do help. Our intention is to help. And we do give away a lot of the secrets that, the 1% really wouldn't like us all in the public to know. Question is, are you going to do it? Ironically enough, that's the funny thing with things like YouTube videos. And it always seems like I start these videos off with a 5-10 minute rant and I don't really change the screen too much. So sorry. But, some things that just sort of jumped out at me that I want to get off my chest. One thing that I noticed that I think is so important about trading, and if you really are serious about doing this and seriously making money from trading, there's just a world of difference between looking at squiggly lines on a computer screen or seeing, numbers blipping up and blipping down. And actually having a concise plan of how you're actually going to be a market participant day in, day out, and actually have expectations of growth, and make money from trading. I mean, what the hell? I mean, anybody could just go buy an asset, and all of a sudden I'm now part of the Ripple Army, and whatever social media says, and I mean, hell, you want to play that game? Totally cool. Don't be surprised. You might be, bag holding, as they say, for long periods of time. I mean, it does happen in this space. I have a sneaky suspicion, and I'm a little disappointed, but I see all the writing on the wall. It makes perfect sense to me. I think there are probably a bunch of bag holders being created as we speak right now. They don't realize they're bag holders, but they will be. Yeah, but Colleen, you're a badass motherfucking trader. So Colleen's like, yeah, I got 2 doubles off on XRP. What are you talking about, Brad? I mean, this Colleen, who wants to be the next? I think Cheryl, didn't we volunteer you to be the next guinea pig? I seem to remember we've passed the baton because because Colleen's made it. But what I like to do is I like to pick out one student, um, and just model them, right? And just say, look at all you out in the public, just do what this person does. They're day in, day out, they're rocking it. And now Colleen's out there just banging out doubles, doing her things, right? So it's beautiful, Colleen. Way to go. And so that means technically, from what I understand, if you're banging out doubles, you're taking some profits on these transactions. Is that correct? You're actually like realizing profit? I mean, that's probably a bigger part of this question is, if you are here to make money from trading, then you are actually ringing the register when the market affords you the opportunity to get paid. So those are the kind of things that have nothing to do with squiggly lines. Everything to do with your psychology, setting yourself up that you're not emotionally acting in the market. You're not jumping on social media trying to make decisions as to when to buy and sell. I mean, that's the big part of this game. And you'll never see that on the fancy commercials on TV. Do people still watch TV? I mean, I'm finding less and less and less I watch commercial television anymore. It's weird. But anyway, that used to be sort of the way we got sort of fed our message. But it's not a very sexy message. It's I'm running my small business of trading message. It's I'm not acting emotionally in the market. I am simply managing assets, part of the conversation, part of this business. Not very sexy. I'll tell you, anybody who had the opportunity through Friday, and again, I think I said earlier, I really like the idea of empowering TRI people. Come on the show. Use the daily brief, because you're talking to a relatively friendly audience. Use the daily brief to get over all your stage fright and your public speaking angst. So actually we had just, and one gentleman, I think the guy's a fucking genius, don't get me wrong. I think, of course, as always, almost all people, you have public speaking angst. And so we gave him the opportunity to sort of, brush off the cobwebs and stuff. Actually, I think it was Friday's report too, the Down Under report. And I'm gonna steal a little bit of Johnny's thunder here, but he did a walkthrough for
about every tribe
for the site people. And, again, I like empowerment. I like people to, 1 + 1 = 3. In fact, there was somebody, what was it that was in was it in the lounge or in the level 1 class? Oh, yeah, the slides. Somebody put together a little flashcard system for the level 1 class of all the quizzes. And I was like, they didn't have to do that, but they were like, hey, I put this together of all the flashcards and I wanted to share it with the class so if anybody could get benefit studying for the final exam. And I was like, fucking A, man. I mean, that's why we're doing this, right? So 1 + 1 = 3. We all work together to become better traders. This was part of John's presentation on Friday through the Daily Brief on sort of his journey. And keep in mind, if you really want to be traders, I mean, there's probably a good portion of you that are just like, this is edutainment. It's awfully fun looking at the squiggly lines and Bitcoin Moon and all that. And if that's you, cool, fine. Nothing wrong with that. You hodl. You enjoy looking at your Bitcoins. They're your precious, right? You stroke them and you think about all the riches they're going to buy you down the road. Okay, totally fine with that. Nothing wrong with that approach at all. However, and there is a big part of our community that really wants to, I want to break away from this 9-to-5 world. I want to actually create an income stream out of trading. And John walked through his own sort of personal journey. And I'll tell you, it's probably one reason why my message resonated so well with both the Bitcoin community and the TradingView community and social media and stuff like that. Initially, was because I was honest with you people. I told you my story. I mean, if you don't know my story, it's a very, very tragic story, but it's real. So, through honesty comes truth. Which sounds kind of weird, but it's true. So, John told us sort of his adventure about how when he first came into trading, charts were fun, they were exciting. Indicators were, I've got the better indicator. My indicator is bigger and stronger and faster than your indicator. What did this talking head say this week, and what did that talking head say that week? What's the appropriate asset mix this particular week, because this person says this asset's going to moon, or that currency is going to collapse in the open marketplace. Like, oh boy, holy headache central. Also, too, and I thought this was super important, is, if you really want to be a professional trader, you have to stop giving a shit what other people think. Which is kind of funny. Because especially in this world of social media, it's like the 1% to try and keep us in that fog. We've actually made it more important for us to make sure that others agree with our thinking. I'll tell you outright, you're not going to make money as a trader if you just simply, quote unquote, follow the herd. Because when markets are breaking out, heading into a new trending phase, that's when you want to be buying. That's usually when the herd is very unsure. And when markets, unfortunately, are face-ripping and getting actually extremely risky and dangerous, that's when the herd is, full hard-on mode. So, as I said, John laid out a really great personal experience of him going from giving a shit to what YouTube and social media and crypto Twitter, what they think, and what actually is reality. It's shocking, the difference. And what was really interesting is he found that the more he moved from the left of the screen to the right of the screen, he found that his profits actually started to move along this road. I mean, it happens to almost everybody. And I always tell social media, you can go back and look at every single video from the very day I started this. The absolute best trading I ever did at the prop firm that I was at, that Top Step Trader, was when I just let go. I had a trade set up. The setup happened to correspond with the market state, and I just fucking owned the market. But, that wasn't my opinion. I mean, they often say actually a big part of trading is just simply getting lucky. And to a certain degree, for a lot of new people, it is, like that 2017 Psycho Peak. None of you knew what you were walking into. Demographic cycles. I mean, who the hell knows what the fuck a demographic cycle is? And money flows and, dilution of currencies. What the hell, man? I just bought Bitcoin because that crazy guy Da Vinci said it's going to the moon at $5. And here it is at 20 G's, and I'm buying my Lambo. So in a weird sort of way, a big part of this is luck. But they always say, how does the line go? Those that are good, how does it go? Yeah, those that are good are often lucky, but more importantly, those that are lucky are often usually really good. So what does that mean? Well, the only way you could have taken advantage of Bitcoin going from whatever to whatever was because you were in the story. You were participating. I mean, if you guys like watching Dav, Dav put the fucking time and effort in. I gotta hand it to the guy. When he came to TRI, he didn't know how to trade out of a paper bag. When he left, he actually had a rock solid setup. He could go and make as much money as he ever need for the rest of his life and tout the shit out of crypto on social media forever. So, he actually is a really good role model for you because he put the time and effort into learning how to do this. Now, of course, I don't know whether his trading is actually the same as this image, because in a weird sort of way, this also speaks to part of this conversation. You have to, actually, that was a great segue. Perfect, Brian. Well done. You have to separate your trading and your business of trading with your enthusiasm for the market. That is hugely significant. Hugely significant. You have to get to the point where you say, look, business is business, pleasure is pleasure. I like going to these conferences and talking about how Bitcoin's going to take over the fiat currency system, blah, blah, blah. I like, going in there poking the lion, Well, I don't know, Vitalik, after I've done this rant, we'll get to some signs that I think that maybe we're close to some sort of top. There's some very typical signs that are happening in social media that are very classic for market tops. So we'll get to that in a bit. But the point here is you got to learn how to separate you have to learn how to separate running your business and market talk. I remember, and actually I was telling John this, I remember I got my first job. Well, actually, this was my second job. Actually, I was applying for another job while I was still in my first job. So I was sitting with this sales manager at a defunct company long gone. What the hell was the name of that place? Jeez, I can't even remember. Anyway, forever ago. I still remember the office, sitting there, and I was going on about, I was like 20 years old, right? Well, long-term gold-Dow ratios, suggesting this was in the 1990s. So I was like, well, it suggests that equity overweight, so I am bullish of equities, blah, 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 sales pitch. And he's like, Brian, I don't give a fuck about market talk. He's like, how are you bringing money into this firm? That's the only thing I care about. Which, let's call a spade a spade. That's, at least he was honest. So the point being that you absolutely have to separate your trading life and your sort of market talk life. Ironically enough, actually, a lot of the conversations I have with you guys is just purely market talk. Well, looks like market wants to go here. Well, looks like market wants to go there. Well, looks like market wants to do this. Well, maybe this will set up a trade down the road. If I actually have a setup and I'm actually risking money in the marketplace, then it's going to be very specific criteria. Now, there are many different sort of approaches to this, so I like to just nibble here and there, throwing like $100 at this, $100 at that. But if I'm going to take a trade in size, oh my goodness, that setup had better be crystal clear. And hell, the setups that I do take and that I've talked about here, I'll show you when I get stopped out. I bought some of that cruise line stock there in the summer, broke the lows, had to walk away, was publicly acknowledging it. It's just a trader's life. It's the way it goes. And of course, I'm sure you've seen all the banging out doubles tweets and all that kind of fun stuff. So you've probably seen lots of those profit events. So, I thought it was really, number one, excellent sales pitch for joining TRI and just being part of our community. This 1 + 1 = 3. We have like an hour and a half long daily brief every single day, Monday to Friday. The diverse, we had, in fact, actually level 3ers. We just did trading with the DOM, market footprint, all that kind of stuff. And we had a fantastic presentation on one of these daily briefs by One of our site members is actually now over at my old prop firm, Daniel, on trading market profile. Actually, no, it wasn't market profile. He was trading more the footprint, and it was just such a great conversation to be able to actually tell the level threeers, okay, let's go back and let's listen to Daniel's presentation on the daily brief, and then let's talk about how we can incorporate that in the class here. So I mean, wow, this is such an awesome resource, and I mean, gee whiz, I mean. There's like, it must be thousands of hours. I mean, this is 73 pages of these videos. I mean, you could get lost in here for like the next 5 years just watching these. And oh, by the way, we do have that 30-day trial, so feel free to pop on and watch this 30-day binge TRI daily brief video watching. That would be a challenge. I challenge you. As you can see from the top banner here, we actually, I'm not really a big fan. You heard me earlier talking about how it's really not in your best interest to get this stuff on sale. Every time I've given these courses away, Shane tried. I bet you did, buddy. Binge watching. Every time I give these courses and this stuff away for free, the people who get this stuff for free never succeed with this. It kills me. The only people who actually succeed with this are the contest winners. And then what usually happens is they feel like they got such great value from winning like the level 1 that they go on and actually do the level 2 and level 3 and all that kind of stuff. But I tell you, every time I give these courses away for free, it never works. Never, ever, ever. Having said that, can we throw you a bone? I don't know whether it's even in Europe, but man, this Black Friday thing has just fucking taken over here in North America. And in years gone by, I'd be like, no, we don't need to do Black Friday. I don't buy into any of that crap. But you guys are just like, come on, gimme. So, okay, we gave. We put together a little Black Friday deal for you. And I've included the link in the video description here today. So if you want to take advantage of that, I've told people that you can see that this thing ends in about really 12 hours. I guess because we're cyber. Oh, there we go. 1 day and 10 hours. Because what I thought, they do this Cyber Monday thing now. So I thought we'd just extend the deal through the weekend. And if you can take advantage of it, it's there for you. Rock on. I'm not the big sales pitch kind of guy. I'm just going to simply say, and this is what I really like about this page, is if you want to come and learn a little bit about our community and the positive changes that we've made in people's lives, I absolutely love this page that Dave put together. All of these people, I've actually gone and visited with them around the world. This guy, that guy, definitely. Hung out with him down in L.A. Johnny Salmon. I told you about Johnny Salmon's report there. Marat, our German police officer. Actually, I don't think he's in the police anymore. If anything, I love the fact that we actually have people like police officers who would actually come and trust TRI, and then they actually go out and say, look, you want to learn from a guy who's got a half-decent credibility, he's not going to fuck you over, come and learn from Brian. So I got to tell you, when I get, I appreciate crypto influencers and stuff like that, but actually a referral from someone like Marat, it speaks hugely volumes. You ought to keep an eye on this Marat Ors guy. Yeah, I don't know where he's going in life, but the universe has very big plans for him. He was fucking traveling around in private jets through the summer. This guy's a fucking player, I'll tell you that much. And we got him as our TA on our level 2 program. Oh, score! So, Marat does wonderful things with pi and with GAN angles. So, if you're interested, I would suggest you poke Marat and have some fun in the level 2 program with him and Karam. Anyway, So the point of the matter here is we're doing the Black Friday thing. If you can take advantage of it, awesome. I'm here to help. You know, somebody had said that, well, Brian, because of your political orientation, I can't, subscribe to your newsletter. I have no political orientation. I'm a capitalist. That means actually I don't want to be friends with any of them. I just want to stand on the sidelines and place my bets. So please understand that. If any of you are kind of like, oh, well, there's politics here, politics right, I have no politics. I think on balance, try and be a good person. Are you a good person? Then the rest will take care of itself. So just FYI there. I thought that was kind of an odd comment that I got recently. If anything, and actually this might be a fun comment. Can you answer this question? Put it in the comments. And this will be great for going forward. Add it to your notes. Add it to your journals. How, in Brian's opinion, how can you tell when a politician is lying to you? That's exactly how I look at all politicians. Left, right, up, down, black, white, in, out, same thing. All right. Okay, so if you can take advantage, awesome. Let's see. Oh no, what does Crypto Cotter says? Crypto Cotter says, I would have bought it without the deal I needed to write off for this year. My biz did well through COVID. Having a second income stream is essential. Been waiting 2 years to decide who to pay. All right. Well, I hope I can help. If you have a question, feel free to ask. And again, remember, I'm not here to shill. You see Josh Morse right there below. Josh is such a beautiful human being. God, this guy's, he's a living angel. I would suggest Crypto Killer Cotter there. Just PM Josh and just ask him, what do you think of this guy? And no, Josh isn't on the payroll, and no, he isn't, getting special treatment or anything. He's a really good person, that Josh guy. Oh, by the way, I don't mean to make him blush there, Slick. He's probably sitting there going, what the fuck's going on? Shut up. Okay, are we going to talk about markets? Oh, Jesus H. Christ, when are we going to get to the fireworks factory? Okay, PM, don't do it on the public thing here. Josh, you're awesome. Still, what's your two? We gotta find a Tesla name. What's Tesla number one? I think I've given you a few ideas. I still don't know what your Tesla number one is, because I'll join you. Okay, let's talk markets. So everybody make a note. Brian basically blabbed away for about a half an hour there. Somebody even put the note on the, what time does it say there? I don't know how to read this darn thing. Does it have a time? 33 minutes. So somebody put a note there. Brian wasted everybody's time for 33 minutes. Okay. So, interesting. S&P 500 Brett, their DI proprietary tool. Somebody asked me, how can I load that on TradingView? You can't. Awesome. This is a TRI's proprietary product, and I think it's a fantastic little tool. But you never want to hear her say that. I think it's a fantastic, kick-ass, huge tool. That's what you want to hear her say. Actually, interesting enough, it's actually flashing a little bit of a sell signal here. So let's be cognizant of that. And actually, it's kind of funny when we were talking Bitcoin through the Friday daily brief. I kind of think Bitcoin as kind of a risk asset was a little bit of a leading indicator there. And the messages that we're getting out of the U.S. government, I don't know whether it's bitterness and vengefulness. It might be. But I'm getting kind of negative messages coming out of the U.S. government here, re-crypto, heading into the end of 2020. I don't know. I'm left scratching my head. There was this one gentleman, and I wanted to sort of comment this to you guys. I do think that crypto is an excellent sort of leading indicator for sort of the risk appetite in our society right now. Remember, coming out of that 2008 financial crisis, I mean, there wasn't anything growing. And you could argue that the growth of the crypto space was one of the drivers that actually brought the economy out of recession and actually led to growth. And remember how NVIDIA's stock price is part of these indexes. You all see what NVIDIA's stock price did. And a lot of people attribute the NVIDIA bull to cryptocurrency demand. So I don't think you should discount this thesis that crypto is a leading indicator in our risk appetite market. I don't think you should discount this lightly. And I got to say, I did not like the tone of this video that I watched here today. Now, I don't know who this gentleman is. I get the impression that he's kind of a XRP fan. But if I understand correctly, not only is there a big incentive for the outgoing people in control of the U.S. government and in control of purse strings to incentivize asset prices as high as possible into the end of this fiscal or calendar year, taxable year. But there's also some interesting rumblings going on underneath the sort of the crypto landscape with regard to how crypto is going to be legislated in the near future. And the irony of it all is I don't think anybody in crypto even understands this. This is more boring, especially it's specifically United States related issues. But sadly, we all know what the cost of production of Bitcoin is. So nobody here can for a moment say that, well, Bitcoin's cheap. I mean, because it isn't. You just can't make that argument that Bitcoin is cheap right now. What I'm concerned about here is, like I said, there's a hell of a lot of incentive to get assets like this as high as possible into this calendar year event. I do find it fascinating from my funny little celestial event windows, and actually I put it on the Ethereum chart here. Here, and I think to a certain degree this is buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. But in essence, we have now just a world of drivers here. So, Ethereum's got new product launch, probably a lot of hype into that. The, it's 2.0. I've been, every time I'm like, okay, this is it. And then and you guys are like, no, this is just another test net, Brian. Cool your fucking jets, calm down. And I'm like, this is it. No, Brian, calm down. So Shane said 2.0 required a staking deadline of November 24th. Fascinating how that was actually a pivot here. So if anything, a great analogy. Thank you, Shane. That's actually kind of cool. Where, that was probably like a panic buy the rumor, and then the event happened and everybody's like, okay, now what? And the price fell out underneath the market. That doesn't surprise me. Ironically enough, Shane and Andrew and I, we went and bought Bitcoin and Ethereum put options up here, and actually we got another. We've done this twice now. I think we bought like our put on Ethereum over here, and we got a double off on that trade, so it gave us a free put option. Turns out it didn't turn into anything. And I think we just did it again, didn't we, Shane? We bought a put option here. Market tanked. We sold half of it on a double, so now we got another free put option trade. And if anything, I love that kind of trading. I love the idea of how do you establish a free look? Now, both this one and this one, because these options are still alive, they're technically a free look. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen to price. I mean, heaven forbid, maybe the damn thing collapses. I don't know. But the point here is that it's free. Free is free. So, it's good. It helps you sleep at night. Interestingly enough, I was looking at this chart through the weekend, and what I actually think's happening here, actually, this makes much more sense to me, is, and because we got our free trade-off, technically we got our capital back in our hands. And it was interesting because one of our trading triumvirates was like, well, should we go buy the ETH puts back? And Shane's here kind of like, you know what, maybe let's just see what the fuck's going to happen here. And I kind of have to agree with that. I like the fact that we were able to get this off. I mean, that makes me immensely happy. And, of course, the stress level goes down. Do I really want to go strap this on with this event right in our faces? And then we've got Jupiter, Saturn, Earth conjunct biggest since 1623. I think, believe it or not, all the anxiety and all the nonsense you see in the world is actually directly attributed to this. But that's just Brian crazy talk. I don't think that this is actually the trade, though. This is the catalyst. Think of this as this is the energy focus. But you kind of need a trigger to release the energy. And I found, again, crazy Brian, bookmark this. It'll be fun to see what happens on the other side of it. But I've often found in my sort of research that Earth, Venus, Uranus, when they make 120-degree angles, what these astrologers, I think they call them trines, right, Shane? Have I got that right? When they make these 120-degree angles. Hey, Cole's verified. Right on. Cool. I mean, I don't know whether I'm in Cole's bad books or not, but I have to kiss Cole's ass here now for the next little while. Anyway, Shane has been a good helper, so Cole, I think, is going to help me here too, get my nomenclature correct. Thank you, Cole. Appreciate that. So I feel, for whatever it's worth, that we're heading into this event. I don't think it's a good idea. I guess the way I would look at it is, the first is coming up fast, right? I mean, there's the first. I mean, is this thing still on schedule? Shane? Cole? Actually, I don't know whether, Cole, you're into ETH. I know, Shane, you're super ETH guy. Is this thing actually expected to go live here on the 1st? I mean, that's, if there ever was a fundamental event, gee whiz, that's a big one to be aware of. Shane, are you here? Anybody? How about you guys over on YouTube? Anyone? I think there's a couple people in the lounge here. Yes. All right. So we're still good to go for the 1st. And I don't know whether it's such a good idea to step in front of that kind of event. As I said, I do find it interesting, and especially with Shane's actually comment there about the 24th being the staking event, where this thing actually ended up pulling back. I mean, the irony of it all is that this level up here is actually pretty technically significant. And I was putting out a chart about this earlier in the week. Usually, markets like to almost use these, and this is a 38.2 retracement off of the entire range. There's a 2017 peak. Remember that way back when? And usually, markets like to run up, hit that 38.2, and ask itself, okay, am I still a bear, or am I actually a range? And the irony of it all is that this thing isn't really a bull. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, what the fuck's he talking about? But this thing actually really isn't a bull until we take out this high up here, believe it or not. So right now, it's are we in this big honkin' A, B, C, D, which, I'm sure almost everybody in the world's going to go, Brian, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. But, I mean, fuck, you never know in this crazy world. If you listen to that Mr. Accounting guy, be careful. Oh boy, I don't like the sound of the U.S. tax code. Something's fishy. So anyway, we'll save that for the new year. That's not now. So is this still a bear? I mean, that's a hell of a drop. I mean, you can see W's, right? www by the something, you know what. But, as a technician, you don't really know whether this has actually turned from a bear into a bull until 38.2 has actually been resolved. So I do find it, and that's a core concept that we teach in our level 1 program. That's why I like using fibs as a nice introductory sort of trade location tool for you, because there's a lot of little internal tells about these fibs that are really helpful. So it didn't surprise me to see that the market paused there at that 38.2. Didn't surprise me one bit. Fascinating, though, that the initial rejection of 38.2, now on a weekly basis is actually going to turn into just a big fat doji here. Now, you never know with these crazy videos. It's 11 o'clock Pacific time. I'm going to go hang out with Liam this afternoon. I'll come back this evening. And this weekly candle may actually be green by the time I come back. Who knows? But it was interesting, and also, too, relative to last week's candle body close, this now, to me, actually looks very much like a midpoint pivot. So that actually means that, and you can see midpoint pivots. Let's see if we can find one here for you. You can say, I see that doji bar there. I think that was a midpoint pivot of this range, right? You can kind of see A, B, C, D. See if I can draw it out for you. In our little, is that the right one I want to use? Probably not. Oh God, this is why these videos always are like 2 hours long, because I always get sent down these funny little tangents. So something like that, you could argue that that doji right there is kind of like the midpoint swing, suggesting that really had that range there, we pivoted, and then the market accepted higher, and so it was telling you that that was just a midpoint. I get the feeling that that's actually what we're looking at here. Just opinion, who knows. Which means that this blow off top could be pretty fucking violent if this thing gets going here. I don't know what's going to happen. Hell of a big doji. Hell of a big doji. In fact, it's so big that it probably means that we're going to have to range a bit in here. We'll probably see some exploration back up against the high of the candle and then back against the low of the candle. But, like I said, if that is a midpoint pivot, and maybe what it is just like here to here, kind of like there to there. So there to there, midpoint pivot takes us up into this area up in here. You can see we got a chaos level, and actually, so let's keep that number in mind, 706. I thought this was interesting when I was looking at this chart this morning, in that we have this funny, and we have one site member who's like a super fan of Head and Shoulders, as is David O. This is one sort of interpretation that I would kind of use. I don't know whether it's right or not, but what I did notice was that this trend line here has been tagged repeatedly. And then, like we said, Shane's comment about that staking, it being 38.2, them slamming it straight down into here, and look where the market stopped. I find that fascinating. A lot of times in our business, we're not in the business to tell the market what to do, because guarantee you tell the market what to do, at least half of the time the market's going to look at you and I'm going to do the other thing, sorry. Regardless of how good or strong or your opinion is. And there are some people that their egos, they just say, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right. And the market ends up bankrupting them. Do you really want that to happen to you? You said, not in your best interest to tell the market what's going to happen. Just react. And then, of course, trade your setups, right? No opinion, no emotion. like Johnny Salmon says, it's actually really good trading is actually really boring because it's very systematic. It's very, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I'm just trading my setup. All right, so back to our conversation here. If we zoom in, well, actually, why don't we leave it on this just for a moment? If this trend line indeed is some sort of neckline pivot, and I've seen this happen before, then what you do is you take your drawing distance from the head up to the neckline. It's sloped, so that means that you actually don't draw your actual target till you've actually broken through the neckline in earnest, and you can kind of see, oh, well, am I here? No, you're not. If anything, this is a great analogy of two-bar confirmation. A lot of old-time traders, they want to see two-bar confirmation. And here you can clearly see head fake up. I mean, you want to write this down? This is fucking killer journal shit. You're never going to learn from anybody on the internet. Two-bar confirmation. Oh, am I going to play this breakout? No, actually, that was a head fake. And then it turns out, well, here's actually the breakout. Two-bar confirmation. Chunk, chunk. All right, I'm a bull. Anyway. So, what do we got here? And this is kind of cool, actually, because you can apply that same logic off of what I just said there a moment ago. So, we can draw up our fib. And where is it? 38.2. Boom. Oh, hello. What a coincidence. Wait. Okay, let's see if anybody's listening on YouTube. What did I say about 38.2s? What should we do before we're going to make any decisions about what the trend is? Anybody on YouTube? Even Sonny Mulder, for heaven's sakes, you've been around TRI long enough. You should be able to answer this. Josh, you should be able to answer this. I gave you the answer earlier. I tweeted it out earlier. What should we do? Good. Nice. Good. Point here is you got to wait for it to be resolved. You know, you might be a bear, right? It sucks, man. It's going down. But I'll tell you, you know, this son of a bitch might, you know, you might find that it goes like, woohoo! I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. But 38.2s, you better let that be resolved. So, I do find it interesting. They slammed it down into these levels. I mean, you could argue. Let's see if we get any other go to sleep. What's our rule about if we see prices coming down, what should we do? 2 letters, both the same, to help us try and see where maybe support might come in on a chart. If you don't know this, write it down. How about you guys over there in the Hangout? What the hell are you all up to? 22 of you. Thank you, Simone. Is it Simone or Simon? Oh, if I say Simone, that sounds like a girl's name. Are you a girl or a boy? I don't know. Anyway, we'll just call you S. No, two words. 2 words. Both with the same letter. Oh my god, the price is collapsing. Where the hell is the support going to come in? Oh, come on. There you go, Jay. You're over here in the Hangout, though. You already got the answer. Oh, wow. Look at that. There's big hearts. You may love me, but you still got to get this. No. Good try, Kevin. Andre got the letters correct. Price is coming screaming. And maybe what we'll do is we'll change it to like an hour chart. Maybe I'll see it a little better. All right. So, price is coming screaming down. Where the hell's the damn bottom? What are we going to do? What should we do? What should we do? We should. 2 words. Both starts with an L. Andre's going to record this. And everybody on the site's going to get sick of hearing of this sound bite. Hey, Kevin got it. Way to go. Loose lips? Look left! Right? So, you know, as we're coming screaming down here, boom, they smash this keep low. Boom, they smash this key low. That's actually interesting because you can see they smashed this low, but then they were like, whoa, okay, maybe that's enough. And then we got into all these lows, and they're like, bang, 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 bang. But I guess what I really would like for you to see is where the hell is key support? Well, it looks like the last time we had serious W's was like down in this area down here. So if we go back up to that higher time frame chart, and you just have to see this. You have to learn, you know, when you see a chart that looks like this, especially when it looks like this, you got to go, oh, fuck me. Now that's the soundbite you got to get. You got to go, oh, fuck me. I mean, even now, you know, so it doesn't surprise me that really all they did was they just took back all of this move here, right? And it finally sort of stopped. We can say look left into all these lows. Remember, I was off that hourly chart. 38.2. So I think that makes sense. Also, too, and, you know, thinking sort of higher time frame participants, what letter of the alphabet does this kind of look like? Doesn't look perfect, but I need for you to sort of just, you know, bear with me here. You know where this old high comes from. So we'll just go like this, and we'll go like that, and we'll go like that, and we'll go like that. So what kind of letter does that sort of look like? Hey, Nick, good job. You know, so, you know, you as market participants, as traders, you have to understand that there was a pretty big event that happened right through here. This is pretty significant. It confirmed more bullish market structure. No, Richie, no boobs. Or unless maybe she's lying down, but we won't go there. I'll show the comment just so people watching the video will know what I'm talking about. So what you have to think about as a market participant, and there's actually a very famous, like I said, none of this shit that we do here, we actually really create our own. I mean, most of this stuff is like hundreds of years old. A Vancovian check? That's an interesting take. So the point here is that you should see this as a W. There was a famous market technician that lived about 100 years ago, Wyckoff, who basically the term was called a Wyckoff check, where in essence the market comes down, it tests the most recent W level. Remember that W? And understand that there's a lot of people, believe it or not, there's a lot of people in this world that actually go, you know, that Beamish guy, maybe he's smart. I won't chase this. If I'm going to buy, I'm just going to place my order at the old breakout level. So it shouldn't surprise you, right? Market comes slamming down into that level and ching, 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 ching. All of those buy orders were just filled. It's very normal. And you know, I've been doing this so long, I take kind of just simple concepts like this for granted that you would know this and you would just accept this as, whoa, is that what happens? That's actually very normal. You know, if you're an aspiring trader, it's going to take you a lot of time to see this. But it's actually, like I said, about 3 or 4 times now, it's actually extremely normal. So, Wyckoff check, 38.2, look left. They just killed all the kids coming in, 100x margin long. They all got destroyed. And interesting how Shane actually had his little fundamental driver. Why did the market actually pump into that level? As soon as that fundamental event was over, whoom, out comes the air from the bubble. So, that sort of leaves us at the point now where I think we can simply say, if we resolve this level to the downside, the market is done that big up move push. The bull is done. I don't know whether that's going to happen. And frankly, that's a very big assumption. Probably not even really, frankly speaking, it's probably not even very professional to even be talking about that event happening until it does happen. In the last Bitcoin crazy ass bull market. This right here was a 38.2 bearish resolution. And in essence, right here, is basically where Richard Hart started to cry. So, you want to combine, look on social media for Richard Hart crying, and then go look at your price chart and see why he's crying? Makes sense. Probably perfectly valid. But I wouldn't put a fork in this, and that's me being silly. Mr. Hart, if you are watching this, certainly no insult intended. You are a scholar and a gentleman. But I wouldn't assume that this is going to fail until it does actually fail. So just be aware of that. That's probably the way that I look at the market right now. I think, we needed this. This had to happen. This was just getting so stupid. So they've cleaned that up. And actually, it's funny, on John Salmon's report, he even said, because, I'm on the site constantly talking, and he even said, you can hear it in Brian's voice. He was so stressed out through this because I knew this was coming. But you never know how bad is. If anything, ironically enough, this actually looks just business as usual. Nobody pulled the plug on Bitcoin and their Ethereum, and the fucking thing just collapses into the ground. So right now, let's let this range develop. We got a huge honking fundamental event coming. If anything, what we'd love to see is, ironically enough, what you'd actually love to see here, which would be totally awesome, is if we could just calm down here. Let the fundamental event happen. And then on the other side of the fundamental event, get that breakout. If that happened, I would be like fucking Moon Boy Central. But right now, I just got to let this thing breathe. What I think's going to happen here is we're going to rally back up into candle body highs, reload short zones. Probably going to go, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I don't know. Call it an outlandish hunch. I think we're going to be range bound. But who knows? We'll see what happens. Having said that, heading into the first, keep in mind that's still basically 2 days away. Anything could happen over these next couple days. And I wouldn't be in the business to take any bets right here, either long or short on this thing right now. I do like the idea that those that had sort of balls of steel to come in and hunt the longs off of this level, but that means you got to be risking against these lows. Even right now, we should fully expect these tails. You've heard me talk about candle body lows for trade location. We should expect these tails at some point to, at the very least, be explored. But not ahead of this fundamental event, that's for damn sure. Let's put, it's very simply put. If this thing goes haywire and it goes wrong, you're going to see this son of a bitch M out here, and we're heading down in earnest. What I actually don't really want to see either is I don't want to see this kind of scenario too either, where we just come up, say tag 127, put in an inside bar or fractal or something, and then come screaming back down the other side. Like I said, I could not be a buyer of this asset right now. Couldn't do it. The only question for me right now, and it's kind of like the same thing we've been having with the Bitcoin, is where the hell's the top? Honestly, I don't know. And I don't think it's in any of your businesses, in any of your best interests, is to call tops, because you just don't know in this game. This is the chart that I do up the daily, but it's probably not relevant for you guys. Here, this is the fun one I've been playing with you guys recently. Gan angles. I think it sure looks to me like the market really liked this 1 to 4 line. Holy moly, look at that. Doink, 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 doink. doink, and now doink. Here we are again. That kind of that conversation about Ethereum popping up into its reload zone into the first. I get the feeling that the coin's probably going to do something along the same lines. And if anything, this might actually be setting up some sort of, catalyst. Usually they say the first week following December, following the Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday. You can look up irrational exuberance as a reference. Sort of along that Ethereum kind of talk, I actually do like the idea that, maybe for the next week or so, while we're working our way through the first week of December, we're still range bound here to a certain degree. It will be really interesting. You can see good old Mr. Mountain Man just came in here. I don't know whether he was hit. That's 18,240. 18,250. So Mr. Mountain Man got his fill. Mr. Mountain Man doesn't really trade too much other than levels. He just absolutely loves his level. So you can see his trade is working away here. One thing I was a little concerned about here coming into the weekend, obviously there was that dump, like I said. It's interesting, even on Bitcoin. Don't have that chart handy, do I? The move down was actually very sort of 38.2-ish, and I had put that out in a tweet. I just don't know where the hell it is right now. We'll come back to that later. Just off of the dump range. Again, gee whiz, man, you're getting 38.2 schooled hard here today. Take a screenshot of this. You just can't write better fucking... excuse me. You just can't get better material than this. Please understand that in the school program, it's not just, hey, here, there's the chart, there's 38.2. There's lectures, and there's quizzes, and there's Grim sitting there with Sharktoshi and Kavarkinator. What a colorful crew we have, eh? In fact, actually, I haven't put a picture together of the TRI crew. Where the hell is that? Such a cool image. Could you not have a better set of instructors to learn from? These guys fucking rule. Am I sure? I don't know. I want to make sure YouTube's showing that because I gotta wait. There it is. From instructor Wookie to TAs. Frankly speaking, both of these TAs could easily be instructors themselves. There's Sharktoshi, and there is the Kavarkinator. I'll leave them to give you their real pictures on their own and their real names. But these are our level 1 instructor crew, and they're fucking all-stars, man. They just, it's so cute. One of our level 3ers got a list of specific assets that Kavarki here is trading. I won't give you the name or whatever. And this person went and bought some of them, and he's just like, oh my god, this guy walks on fucking water. I don't even think Kavarki even took half the trades that this person's banging out just monster wins on. But anyway, this crew, they're beautiful. They're beautiful people. And I'm very honored to have them on board here at TRI. So there's your illustrious level 1 instructor pool. But they're going to sort of handhold you through understanding what the hell this chart says. I just so blasé go, look, oh, gee whiz, there's another 38.2. See, did you learn it? There you go. But, point here, market dumped, counter trend rally, gee whiz, right back to our 38.2. Pulled back, tested the low, candle body lows, trade location. Oh my god, this stuff writes itself. So, if you were a range trader, I'm sure some people got some indications to take stabs long. I was kind of thinking, was this thing going to break down lower? So I was watching for one. And let's see if YouTubers... oh, good. Excellent. Let's see how many YouTubers have actually learned this. And no current TRIers. Josh, you can't answer this. Ryan, you can't answer this. And any of you others. I know who you are. I'll name names, too. How many highs should we see here if we actually want to think about maybe a range continuation trade short? or this bot setup. Maybe this was going to be an AB, boom, boom, all right, stand nice and big, CD. So you can see, there's that target down there. How many highs did I need to see here for me to actually start thinking about getting serious about that short? Going short. Good. All right. Seeing the magic number there. So really interesting to watch this price action. We made a new low. We counter trend rally back up to this high. We pulled back. So I start, when I see the counter trend rally back to 33, I go, the bot is alive. Dun, dun, dun. So I start drawing, replicating, draw the bot levels. And I even on social media, I even just threw this out there and I said, just saying. I'm sure there's probably people saying, oh yeah, Beamish is calling for 14K. No, that's not how this works. The point is the setups were there. And actually this is an excellent illustration of everything that I was talking about earlier. Man, I've been talking for a while. Should I? Oh, I'll finish this thought and then we'll head on over to the Q&A. Is this still trending down? We won't know until 38.2 has been resolved. In this particular case, if this was still trending down, 38.2 would have been lost and an M would have come in here and down we go. So that's why I like to have the bot sort of set up that M. And in fact, I'm so chicken shit. I want for the bot, I want an M within an M. I want two M's, i.e. 3 lower highs. So we got this pullback. You can see how the market set up that candle body. That's a beautiful reversal there. So I was like, okay, let's see what we got. So we rallied back up into reload zones, of this particular range. And we started to waffle, okay, and then we broke out. So we never did. We got one high, maybe two highs, and nothing. And the market blasts off higher, breaking this bot setup. Since we haven't gone beyond 66, right? There's 66 right there. So that's up there. So now, technically, that still means this bot setup is alive. So we're going to just simply drag the bot to a level, to whatever the recent high is, and start counting for those 3 higher highs, looking for a setup off the 25 level. It's just that simple. Since this 38.2 has resolved to the upside, interestingly enough, remember I'd said earlier, we can't actually really call this a bull until this high is actually taken out. What we do say is if this 38.2 is resolved, this sort of face rip bear punch, it's over. Now, we're back in a trading range. The interesting thing about that is if this is a trading range, then here are the levels, trading range traders. Remember we talked about this guy just a minute ago. These are the range traders. They're going to start coming in and hunting for shorts in the reload zone. Or in essence, reloading against this original top. Maybe they did short this. This was a classic. Actually, in the level 1 program, we talked a little bit about kill zones because today's was a liquidity event tutorial. And this actually was an absolute textbook London kill zone fuck you setup. What? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Brian, wash your mouth out with soap. But it was. And I tell you, the New York boys, did I say London? I meant New York, sorry. New York boys, they just pulled the biggest possible fuck you on the public you could. So you can see there's the old high. There is 5:30 a.m. my time on the wet coast. Of course, the stock market opens up at 6:30 my time. You can literally see they took the market up through that liquidity event All of the kids, of course, had their buy on stop orders. They were all breaking out. They were all thinking, man, we're gonna get fucking rich. Bang! That's why we call this a kill zone. I mean, you cannot get a better example. You literally can't. I mean, I tell you, Mr. Still watching these videos, want to get value out of them. Writing a course off of all the notes that he writes. Oh my God, it's incredible. I mean, if your liquidity event window part of your manual that you're writing is empty, take a screenshot of that. I mean, you can't write anything better. And all you level 1ers, do we have any level 1ers on the call here? I mean, this is literally, you could not write this any better. This is the shit that you're here to learn. Seriously. So, I mean, I almost want to take a pause just to let that sink in. That was just so absolutely and utterly textbook. This is unfortunately, this is capitalism. You can, you don't have to play this game. Please understand that. You don't have to participate in this. You can buy your cryptocurrencies or whatever and hodl. I didn't know Will Fort was so smart. Who's Will Fort? Is Will Fort in the call here? If you do decide to play this game, you have to understand the rules. The rules are, there are no rules. Can I screw over as many people as much of the time as possible? Isn't that interesting? Mr. S says, yes, you said this week New York was driving the bus. Maybe. I mean, that's such an absolutely compelling image. There is a setup that we actually teach on the site, and I run it with a couple of our site OGs. We run a little trading club. Actually, our goal is we want to get so good at this, have such a big repertoire of trades to show Top Step that we just want to go over to Top Step and just basically port it over there once we're comfortable with it. And just for fun. You remember, for me, I've already got piles of money. I mean, I got a pile over there. I got a pile over there. I got a pile over there. I got a pile of Bitcoins. I got a pile of Ethereum. I got a pile of Dash. I got a pile of fiat Canadian dollars. I got a pile of US dollars. Got a pile of euros. I got piles of money. So I'm not here to, first sell a whole bunch of subscriptions. I got to make money off of you assholes. No. I'm here to try and help you guys. But what I really want is for you guys to learn. And like these two gentlemen that I'm working with, and actually I think we just added a third to our group here recently. This is that same kind of concept where all you're doing is you're just hunting horizontal support and resistance levels, and as they come into the kill zones, this basically sets up a trade. And then, of course, you want to look at your indicators and, see signs of divergence and all that kind of fun stuff. So this is a universal concept. So, you might be looking at this Bitcoin chart and going, oh, yeah, but that's just a flyer. No. This is business as usual. This is exactly the way this business works. And if you can understand this, we would call this a trade location. It's a difficult trade location for new people to trading, so I don't teach it to new people. It's more advanced, level 2. But that's definitely a trade location. And I'll tell you, if I put out on social media, maybe I'll just do this when Zach and I and Casper and maybe Hafed get the account funded over at Top Step and we put the trade on because it would just be following our plan. You put those kind of social media tweets out the day that happens and people think you fucking walk on water. And it's like, no, just following the plan. It's not that big of a deal. So, anyway, I'm not quite sure where I wanted to go with all that. What I would say here, just over the short term, I was just talking about, I guess, kill zones. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. I like, this is also, I mean, it's great. I love, what's so cool about TRI is I can go, okay, and this person said this, and this person said that, and that person pointed that out, and this person pointed that out. Because we got so many of these smart traders that all know what they're doing, so it's good. And I think somebody had a quote for me, and maybe Andre, if you want to get this sound quote, I remember somebody put together a page of sound bites. So we should try and add all those sound bites of yours to that page. But, oh darn, now I can't remember what it was. Oh well. It'll come back to me later. Oh yeah, so, and the quote is, I don't want a bunch of robots. Having a whole bunch of people sitting on YouTube going, oh, Brian, tell us what to do. Oh, Brian, tell us what to do. And then, you all know it's stupid to get into the business of predicting the future. The idea doesn't work, and then you're all like, okay, Brian, here's my lawyer's phone number. I would suggest you talk to him because you got a problem on your hands. I don't need that shit. That's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. I'm not going to tell you what to buy and sell. I don't care. What I love is I pop on TRI's website like Friday morning, and site members call in. I'll specifically call him out because he's a fucking rock star. He was going, well, I'm kind of seeing a Head and Shoulders here. So, gee whiz, what a surprise. Head and Shoulders going to develop off 38.2. We all know how to draw targets for Head and Shoulders formations, right? If you don't, maybe get your ass in the school. By the way, did I mention we have a Black Friday deal here you can take advantage of? Get a couple of bucks off. It's up to you. So how do you draw Head and Shoulders objectives? Interestingly enough, it actually paints an objective that would be actually a very normal level for TRIers to be thinking about shorting. 78.6, almost right on the nose. So hopefully what you're seeing, remember I talked earlier, I was saying, well, maybe this is a rip roar and bear. We're going to use 38.2 as a resolution to try and tell us whether this is still a bear or whether we've transitioned into a range. And then, oh gee whiz, what a coincidence, 38.2 resolution is actually a Head and Shoulders pattern, which is projecting price to move up into the top end of the range and stall out exactly where we would expect a ranging market to stall out. You see how this shit works together? And that's the whole idea of confluence. And that is where you got to get to if you're a technician, is you have to see a whole bunch of reasons. And hopefully they're unrelated reasons to justify you acting in the market. So, from trade location wise, I got to say I got a pretty darn compelling reason for me to keep a really sharp eye for some sort of topping pattern up in this sort of 18.8 area, we'll call it. And oh, gee whiz. If we happen to just simply remove the little fuck you candle here, what does that actually start to look like? Doesn't look like any kind of letter of the alphabet that maybe we should be paying attention to. Will Forte is on Saturday Night Live. And I sound just like him. Oh, there you go. Megan, what are we supposed to think if we see M's? Is that a good sign or a bad sign? Be careful here, folks. Be careful. Especially with the little fuck you move. Oh boy, that seems awfully suspicious. So, again, remember, probably a good idea. Let's try and put this into context. Is there any big, let me, just out of curiosity, is there any big fundamental event coming up here for Bitcoin? Yeah, well, technically it's a Wyckoff check too. It's just a bearish Wyckoff check, Colleen. Colleen says upside down Wyckoff check. Well, yeah. But let's get back to what I'm saying here. Is there any Bitcoin fundamental catalyst coming up here? Anyone? No, I don't think so. That's not a good catalyst. That's ugly. Nah, that's down the road. I'm talking about right now, right here, right now. Yeah, that's right. This is all ETH. So I don't know whether I really want to buy into more Bitcoin moon talk here. If anything, I find it fascinating. Look who son of a bitch just got a fill here. If anything, the interesting thing is if the market fails off of here and this trade actually does start to work, he'll be taking profits. Remember, Mountain Man's he's a sharp trader. So, more than like 2-to-1 risk reward, he's going to be paying himself. And he might just move his stop to scratch on whatever he's got left on the books. And if he gets blown out, so be it. So don't think he's married to this position. He's like super slick, insane pit trader. Well, when I'm worried, so Crypto Cotter here says December 3rd announcement from a U.S. Fed. What I'm really worried about here is we finish this ETH blow off top event, then these sons of bitches just inject a massive amount of FUD into this space. It's not going to be like, well, Bitcoin's worthless, and no, we're going to outlaw Bitcoin. It's going to be like, oh, well, you're going to have U.S. citizens, you're going to have to file all your wallet addresses, and blah, 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 blah. May not have anything to do with Bitcoin whatsoever. But my worry here is that Bitcoin doesn't really have a catalyst here for it to be driving price up. So 38.2 is resolved. Inverted head and shoulders pointing up into reload zones. It's the weekend. We're still pointing higher. I will say I don't like the fact that we banged into this Gann angle so hard and we're getting rejected here. Clearly this is massive resistance. I mean, would I want to go and buy this here? No fucking way. I mean, if I was a day trader, candle body lows, there's the W. This was probably the level, that reversal candle right in there. And David O on the site, he is just a sharpshooter, head and shoulders trader guy. And I know, in fact, on Tuesday, Kavark, are you here? Or any of our Tuesday crew here? We should review this head and shoulders and see how David would have traded that, because I do think that probably was a nice little fractal entry for him. I'll leave David's head and shoulders trading to him. If you were hunting an entry, there's a nice little trendline break with a W in there. You could have been hunting longs. Might have even been very bottish in here. Might have been a bot level in there. So there's probably levels to get in. Up here, though? Ooh, boy, I don't know. I would call this no man's land. Yeah, that's probably the absolute best way to describe it. The bearish botters thinking that maybe this bearish bot's still alive. They're going to be watching this 17.5 area. That makes sense, too. You can see the profile. You can see there's some serious interest. There's quite a bit of uncertainty off of this level. We haven't really traded into here. Remember, look left kind of talk. If we have to explore into here, are the big boys? Looks like they even left a gap there, eh? Oh, hello. So you can see, actually there's a few gaps on this chart. Yeah, this is messy. Lots of unfinished business here. So this is a concept we teach in our level 2 program. And actually this is where he got his funny name. Good old, where is he? Oh, Sharktoshi. Actually, Sharktoshi first came on the site, and he couldn't believe gaps would get filled in. Hey, Ryan, can you remind me to ask David to examine that Bitcoin chart for the head and shoulders? Thanks, Ryan. On next Tuesday's meeting. So Sharktoshi, when he first came on the site, he was just enamored with gaps. He couldn't believe gaps were getting filled in. So it was a real privilege sort of teaching him about that, and I gave him this funny little moniker. I don't know whether he even likes it. He probably doesn't. Sorry, sir. Super swell guy. But you can see gap right here. You can see they brought the market into there. I would call this unfinished. And you can see the profile. There's unfinished business here. I also see cheeky little gaps, right? I mean, you could argue that these are all gaps that will need to be filled in at some point. There. There's a 30-minute chart, so, kind of like day trader references. You can see them all. Lots and lots of levels. Lots of unfinished business. So if we line up those levels with the profile, yeah. So, the problem here is they slam the market down into here, but that's 25. And remember, Brian wants to see 3 highs. So I could easily see them go wha-bang. And then, okay, well, head fake. And then Brian will be like, okay, well, now maybe we can start thinking of things, right? But this is still way too early for me to even think about trading. As I had sort of said earlier, kind of with Ethereum, and especially with the big fundamental event, what I'd sort of said with regard to Shane's comments there earlier, I don't know whether I really want to try and step in front of this just yet. Might be a little dangerous. If we apply the same logic there, is that first? Where is it? There it is. I mean, I don't know exactly what happens through this nonsense. I don't know exactly what we should use as a reference. I'll just have that on there. Well, it might be interesting to watch this going forward. If I was going to be drawing levels to watch here, I'd go boobity-boo, up to boo. Remember we said let's keep an eye out for influencers on social media crying, being really upset about broken markets. I think the way I would look at this, actually it's kind of the same as the corn. So you can see, actually this is such a great, here's another good one. In essence, the market slams down into 38.2. Remember we said that's that big inverted head and shoulders level. And okay, we don't call this a bear until this level's been resolved. And sure enough, breaking all the 100x kids' hearts, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Thing finally starts to sort of settle down, and we get this consolidation. You might have hunted that W. I mean, if you got balls of steel, there you go. I'd say you got your 38.2 resolution here. We broke out through all these highs. So, in essence, we're back now into a range. And drawing our range. Get rid of that now. Where should we expect resistance? Interesting. Right at the 50% level. Our beginners on the site, we like to suggest people use the 50% rule as a profit objective, our El Tangonator setup. I learned that setup like 30 years ago. Great example. None of this shit is new. Anything that you see with regard to technical analysis on the internet, they did not create it. It might be a bastardization of something else that was created years ago, but I very rarely ever see anything sort of new in the world of technical analysis. Anyway, point here is 50% level, WD GAN, right, all that. It's a pretty good sort of keep you honest level. But, think, look left. If I was really going to try and, defend a bearish market, where is resistance? Well, it's up there. And it's up there, right? Where did the bull previously stop? So this is all kind of open air in here. A little bit dangerous calling a top right there, I think. So if I was thinking about shorting, we're still in a bull market though. 38.2s are still working, so I don't know whether that's the best idea. But if I was hunting a top, well, actually I just did that, didn't I? Dope. I'd probably be inclined to just be nice and patient. Just see if I can get a nice rally up into this window. You'll notice that this is the original breakdown level. Right, up, down, up, fail. So right through there. There's also another one. That little FU move, really sloppy, but you could say up through there, even off of that level there. But you can see how they all sort of line up with sort of a shot up into here. That's what I think that first event, by the rumor. So I would be inclined as a technician. I've got my location. If this fundamental event has happened, and then I look down at my indicators and I see price is making higher highs, but the indicators themselves are not making higher highs, i.e. divergence, then we get up into here. If I get that confirmed divergence and then I got a big old fat M, Brian, he's probably going to be hitting that son of a bitch. But that's number one. Don't do that ahead of the fundamental event. You might get your ass just fucking handed to you. Number two, probably best to wait for the internals indicators, MACD, RSI, Williams percentage R, a stochastic, whatever kind of momentum indicator, maybe even MFI. Volume always speaks volume, so volume divergences are way more powerful than price momentum divergences. So point here is, there might be a nice trade. I had said earlier, right, about Shane. We were kind of lucky. We got our put option. We sold half on a double. So we're kind of like sitting free there. And, we're kind of humming on. All right, should we go and maybe work some orders? And Shane's kind of like, you know what? We got the fundamental event window coming. Maybe let's just let this thing breathe through this. Because, you just don't know, people. You just don't know. As I had said earlier, I like the idea that following this, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, usually the first week or so of December, there's a bit of a pause here. But we got this shit still ahead of us. Over here. This is what I'm worried about. Like what I think's going to happen. You see this, right? You see how quick just dump, then consolidate, and away we go. So, maybe this is the first dump right here. Then the counter trend rally here. There's one more fuck you against these lows. And I don't know how deep it goes. And then we do one of these, climb this fucking insane wall here. And we got all these crazy ass events. And I think what's going to happen here, I don't know how this goes around this fundamental event window. But ironically enough, what I would actually prefer is, and I think I showed you this earlier, I would prefer that, okay, we do a nice little rally, then we get that first sort of week cleanup, consolidate, and then we get ready for a fucking orgy central. Woo! I can't go any higher, Brian. Your screen stopped. I want to go higher. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we'll see what happens. The interesting thing is that there are a number of levels here on this Ethereum that I think are still in play. I'm a big fan of these funny little Feigenbaum constant. Do we want to get rid of all this stuff? I guess we will. Oh, look at all those pretty levels. Bye-bye, pretty levels. Bye-bye. Liam loves to say that. All done, pretty levels. All done. All right. Where are we here? Hats off to any parents of special needs kids through this event. Gotta tell you, man. It's been a bit of a challenge with Liam. We go through some very unique circumstances, especially those non-verbal kids. This is tough. So big shout out to you. Big shout out to the Community Living Services of BC. Dave, I asked you to watch this video there last week. Sure hope you did. Another shout out to you. I'll remind you this afternoon. You better watch this damn video. But great job working with Liam, and of course I'll see you in probably about an hour and a half. So kind of going full circle, I think we started this conversation with this image, and then once I'm done this, we'll head on over to the Q&A. Got a foggy still floating out up here at 692. If this is alt ABCDs, the 127 161s are in play. There's an 877, that's 78.6 chaos. Still haven't got that exactly down. Raph and Bobo are trying to teach me that. And I thought it was fascinating. Here's the kick in the pants. You guys have been doing this. Oh, thanks, Ryan. You guys have been doing this long enough with me. You just saw what happened lower time frame on Bitcoin with Mountain Man. You see him floating out here. He's there. You know what he does when his level gets hit. You know how often his level gets hit. He's sitting there at $911.99. don't be shocked. Maybe we run up and tag $1,000 through this. That wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. Keep in mind, this is historic stuff here. And then what I really don't like is that the politicians and the 1%, they've juiced the whole fucking thing. The whole thing is juiced for some sort of big blow off top here into the end of the year. Everything is set up for it. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. It should be a wild ride. All right, let's head on over to Q&A questions. See if I can help out there. And then I got to go get pretty for the boa. Jeez, I've been talking for about an hour and a half, eh? Sorry, everyone. Okay, could you walk through your process of a little old lady? Process of a little old lady? I know that this is a risk management profile, but I would like to see it in action. I can never see enough examples. Also, do you do any LOL strategies at lower time frames? Well, I would say, first and foremost, super clear, little old lady was it was like a typical client that I had when I was a broker. Keep in mind, I was a commodities broker, stock broker, options broker, mutual funds, financial planner, money market, fixed income. I mean, I did everything. So there's definitely a certain segment of the retail market that just doesn't want to be bugged on a regular basis. They want to, they want to hodl. Right? You guys all know that expression. Hodl, hodl, hodl. So, as a trader, of course, hey, margin call, you're stopped out. Get the fuck out. They do not want to get those phone calls ever. If I ever gave one of them one of those phone calls, they'd be like, Brian, close the accounts and cut me a check. I'm done. So that's the most important thing you have to understand about little old lady is little old lady is a name because of a little old lady type of client that I'd have. So with that said, and just think about it in real terms. Let's say you had like $100 bill in your pocket. And you broke that up into, here in Canada we have dollar coins. We call them loonies. So now you've got 100 loonies in your pocket. If you lose one of those loonies, is it really going to make that big of a difference to you at the end of the day? Probably not. You got 99 loonies left in your pocket. When does it get to the point where you start losing loonies and you go, oh, fuck, man, this kind of hurts? And I've just found, and this is my personal experience, you start breaking that sort of 5% threshold and people start to pay attention. So if you took that 100 loonies and broke it up into 20 little different cars, 20 little $5 bills, and you just said, look, you're never allowed to put more than that $5 bill into any idea, then technically the client doesn't ever blow themselves up. I mean, it's very, very difficult to have happen. It does sometimes happen when people come into, say, big bubble markets like crypto in 2017, and they sort of con themselves into believing that if they buy 20 different altcoins, they're buying 20 different assets when they're not really. That was a nasty trap that a lot of altcoiners had to learn very hard. Pretty much the whole market moves in tandem. I often suggest, and especially with the stock market, that maybe you pick like 3 or 4 stocks in any one particular sector and then diversify. Like you see Ryan there giving me a big shout out. Ryan's made some great money in the retail, in the brick and mortar retail space. Ryan's making a killing. How does that happen? His Express, which is hilarious. And you see us playing in the electric vehicle stock market. So Zach, my partner there in the level 3 program and one of our TRI SOF crew, and a pretty good value stock hunter. He's got us buying things like U.S. insurance companies. Oh, that's exciting. So super important that you're nice and diversified. Make damn sure about that. So the money that, let's say, you did put into crypto, let's hope that that's not too big of a portion of your net worth. And if you wanted to go within the crypto space and go and nibble, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, actually, I mean, there's tons of examples I can show you of nanny nibbles. In fact, on the site, pretty much and I don't know, Sjord's been so busy getting the screeners up and running that we've kind of let a lot of the old pages that we used to update and stuff kind of fall by the wayside. This page definitely needs some attention, but this thing used to, remember I funded this thing, yeah, I mean, it's not even close to accurate. But I funded this thing with $500. And you could argue, and I don't even know how you even see what the transactions are. Are these the holdings or the transactions? So this is supposed to just dump everything from Trex and Binance and all that kind of stuff into this page, and whatever transactions we did, it would report it. This is, I don't know what the hell these things, doesn't even have the name of what the hell this thing is. This page needs a lot of TLC. You can definitely see there's a bit of work that needs to be done here. So site members, my sincere apologies. We've kind of let this slide. But I do post every single trade I do on the site. I post in my little room. And actually, we're hiring somebody in the early new year to be sort of the official posting policeman, if you will, where he's going to go around with a big stick and knock people on the head if they don't do their appropriate posts on the site. I mean, remember, I'm not a computer guy, so I don't know any of this shit, right? But if you're a site member and you're on here, I've got a funny little trading room here called Brian's Big Bot. And every single trade I do in the market, I post in here, whether it be little old lady or whether it be options trades, whether it be cryptocurrencies, whatever. I do everything in here. So here's a perfect example of a name that I was interested in, that I took a little old lady risk management approach to. Right now, I think the Trex account has, I think it's something like about 4 or 5 Bitcoin equivalent. I think it's got the better part of a Bitcoin, or I guess about a half a Bitcoin in purchasing, dry powder. So if a name comes along I like, I'll go and pick some up. So here was one. I just went and I think you can even see the orders. Pretty simple stuff, not rocket science. Where's that Trex page? The only problem is I don't know whether I'm logged into this or not. Oh, there it is over there. Okay, am I? I am. They still won't give me a fill on that damn KSM, bastards. Orders. And let's see, what have I been doing here? Open orders, closed orders. There it is, CBC. All right, so I don't know whether this will help or not. Can we see this? Oh yeah, cool. Oh, I have to put it on that screen though. Okay. So anyway, hope I am not giving away any secret sauce here. Oh God, don't steal my account. So here's a good example where, this was an attractive name at the bottom end of the range. I came in, I placed a buy order off of this bigger W. But then actually this was a funny one because, I think it was Binance or something like that, did a big FU candle and printed a huge tail here. So following that event, I was like, fuck it, I'll go buy some more. And you can see there's my buy, and there's my sell. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know whether that helps. You can actually see my little trades. I don't want to show too much like sizes and stuff, and actual account details. But that's a pretty simple example. And if you want, like I said, you want to have fun. Hell, you can go through this Brian's Big Bot. You can just go through trade after trade after trade after trade. I post everything. And also, too, maybe new people on the site, you don't even know that this is here. But every single trade I do, looks like here's another one. Oops, where'd it go? Sometimes in the stock market, you get just ridiculous treats. These might be considered little old lady risk management as well. Usually what I do is I like to mentally pick like a big fat round number for trades. So this particular retirement account's about 100 G's. So I literally do like about $1,000 trades. So here, this quite literally is taking $1,000 and turning it into $2,000. Which you could argue is technically a little old lady risk management approach. If it went off the board, I wouldn't be dead. And now I've got free stock, right? So, really, the only thing is I don't want you thinking like little old lady, and I'm going to take like futures trades. Or, like one of our, I don't post the horizontal support and resistance club trades, because they're not live. We're still sort of vetting that trading plan out. But which room is it? Where are you guys? I guess is it the Ayatollah room? I think it is. Yeah, so in here we're posting all of our futures trade setups and all of our levels. I would not take a little old lady approach to this kind of trading. That just doesn't make any sense at all. You're going to have to put these contracts on margin, on size, which means you're probably going to need a good chunk of money to even strap the position on. So, and you do not get married to these kind of, like I showed you. You want to look like a rock star. Remember this crazy trade, wherever the hell it was. Oh, what did I do with that? This trade right here, right? You want to be rock star. Look at me, I'm awesome. You wouldn't do this kind of trade with little old lady approach, right? You're gonna have to strap on a futures contract. You're gonna have to predefine what your sort of maximum risk limit is per trade on the leverage contract. You're gonna have to put your stop at that level, and you just got to live with the results. Definitely not little old lady trading. So hopefully that explains sort of the difference. All right, take it easy, Andre. I've been blabbing away for quite a while now. It's remarkable how I can just keep fucking talking forever and I don't really say much. Oh, well, I hope I'm saying something of value here today. Okay, where's our little question sheet? So, not a bad idea if you can just throw your name in here so I can speak directly to you. I hope that helps. Can you, do I do LOL on lower time frames? Not really. It's a waste of time. Can I take smaller bets relative to the size of my account? And technically they are little old lady risk managements. Yeah, but would I risk it to go into zero? No. That trade that in a lot of those farmer names and stuff like that, I take what's called Joe six-pack approach. I'll risk 50% of my capital. If I can risk 50% of my capital, but then consistently on my winners double my money, you do the math. What happens if members don't have access to this channel? Well, they should. I don't understand why not. Maybe PM me. It might be something where you have to ask permission. Maybe, like I said, you might not even have known about that. We're so busy right now. Keep in mind, since 2017 peak, there has been only one thing on Brian's mind since that 2017 peak, And that was to get this new website and this screener system up and running. That's the only thing I've been doing for the past 3 years. Everything else, I've been kind of like, pfft. I mean, fuck, I could probably... Somebody told me I could write 4, 5, and 6 levels for the school. We've got enough material now that we could literally write another, like, literally duplicate the school. But I want to get this up and running. This has been my focus. So my apologies on the kind of shitty reporting of trades and stuff, and not really, one of my goals after the current level 3 program is done is to go through some video walkthrough tutorials for people on the site. But one of the things we need to do is to help you see chat rooms like Brian's Big Fat Bot a little easier. So my apologies there. Anyway, you've got it now. And the Ayatollah room, I think the Ayatollah room's a little bit more advanced. We don't really let general site members into there, because it's like our traders, right? They're kind of advanced traders. As well with the options. Don't really like to let general site members in there because it's dangerous. I really don't want you trading options. They're extremely dangerous. Okay, so where's Brian's big bot? Big fat bot. There. If you want to know anything I'm doing, you're on the site, whatever, follow this room. If you have to PM me to get in there, awesome, fine. I think it's a post-only room, so I just, like I said, any trade I do on the site, I always post it in here. Okay, moving on. So we talked a little bit about this guy. I don't like what I'm hearing out of Taxman. I have a funny feeling some nastiness is coming down the road. I also don't like this. This is exactly what you do not want to see if you are a Bitcoin bull. You don't want to see this. Every time I see this shit, we're literally within months of a top. So I don't know where the top is, but this basically is telling me, here we are, top's here. So kind of sucks, but, reality is reality. That's a bad sign. Okay, back to the questions. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, number 2, can you expand on the 1 year 50% rule? Okay. It was listed in relation to the chart you posted in the level 1 chart on Dash. Okay. Is this to make sure we can at least hit our 2-to-1 risk reward at the 50% rule? The more I learn, the more I need to reinforce the basic concepts. Thank you for your awesome course. Oh, well, that's sweet of you. You're welcome. How do you say this? That is one of the first rules that I learned in technical analysis by a guy. His name was Ken Roberts. And actually, it's so funny. He's still out there making jokes and stuff. And it's kind of funny. Really, really good traders. They're so lighthearted. Ken is such a fucking good trader. And it was just simply the commodity traders. They would take the contract high plus the contract low, added together, divided by 2, and that would be their 50% rule. Usually that is a 52-week high, 52-week low. And I think that the 50% rule, is it like somebody invented it? I mean, did Fibonacci himself invent the number sequence? No. I mean, who knows if the guy even did it himself? He probably had a team of people and he took credit for it. Who knows? So it's one of those kind of things. I would say that if you were going to attribute the 50% rule to anybody in particular, that W.D. Gann should get kudos. But did he invent the 50% rule? I don't think so. What is the 50% rule? And why would it be important to a guy like Gann? His basic premise was that everything in the universe moves in a very orderly fashion. So a very orderly growth rate is like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's just normal. It's natural. I wonder if he looked at nature. He might have looked at nature and said, in the spring, plants grow. In the fall, they have to give some of that growth back. Could be. I don't know. That probably follows more along the Fib sequence. I do see that, over time, he did a lot of his price analysis. And keep in mind, he grew up in a very agrarian world. But he did a lot of his analysis that tried to connect price action with time. Especially in that world, everything was very two-dimensional, as those are the only axes that they could really work with. So, as a result, from his work, he found that because of the cycle nature of our planet, and really everything about our existence moves in these cycles. And then if he actually started applying time to the cycles, he found that corrections actually came in very orderly sequences. And the more orderly the sequence, the healthier the asset. The more sort of happier the asset was. If the sequence was very erratic and not very orderly, then it meant that there were a lot of sort of outside variables that were affecting what was going on. So if an asset is sort of like, I guess, left in a vacuum, what he found was that naturally markets will retrace 50% of their previous move in about 50% of the time that it took to cause the initial move, what he would call the vibrational signature. He worked with annual cycles, and of course, in the ag industry and stuff like that, obviously annual cycles were critical. And so he actually did a lot of time analysis and it's interesting because even if we look at the Bitcoin chart, right, Bitcoin went from its high to its low in almost exactly 1 year. And its 50% retracement happened almost exactly 50% of that time. So it was just an absolute, I think for him, believe it or not, I think it was like a eureka moment that time and price need to move in conjunction. So as a general rule of thumb, we just always want to ask, since we're live in this funny Earth orbit 365-day cycle, we always want to just sort of ask ourselves, where are we in that cycle? Then you want to ask your asset, what has it done in that previous cycle? And the general rule of thumb is that prices will often retrace 50% of their previous move over the 52-week range. You can use this principle on lower time frames. It's not like there's a right or wrong. The great part about the market is it's incredibly fractally. So we can actually apply a lot of the basic principles that we use off of daily price charts, off of like 5-minute price charts, tick charts. It's remarkable. In fact, Daniel, like I said, did a fantastic presentation in the Level 3 program on Saturday, yesterday. And the guy trades like literally 30 tick charts that are broken into like 30 trades. So he doesn't even see time. All he sees is a new bar every 30 trades. It's a very interesting way of looking at price action. And yet again, things like 50% rules, they're just time-tested principles. Remember what we do here is we're not here to reinvent the wheel. If anything, what we want to do is we want to figure out what the hell works and do more of it. Figure out what generally doesn't work and do less of that. And we're your traders. I remember back when I used to teach a level 1 course, and that's years ago now. Geez, Grim, you've been doing this a while. I used to have people sit there and go, okay, well, explain why the fib sequence works. And I go, I don't know why the fuck it works. It's not my job to figure out why it works. It just does. What is going through TRI level 1? I don't know what that means. Can we still get into the 900 level 1? Oh, I'm not quite sure what those questions are. London? Is that your name? London? Landon? You can, we included the Black Friday Cyber Monday special on the, man, I've been blabbing away for a while. I bet you there's people that are just tuning in now going, what the hell is this guy saying? What's going on over here? This guy's been talking for 2 hours. Jesus, he must really love the sound of his own voice. There's. I included this link in the description there. If you want to get more information and you want to sign up. Actually, yeah, I'm surprised, man. We're giving this silly thing away for under $900 now. You crazy kids. I made a rule. I said I was not going to sell this below $1,000, and these goddamn partners of mine screwed me again. No, just kidding. I'm just being silly. Actually, I got to say, my partners, Sjord is working like a son of a bitch. And he just had a kid. Congratulations, Sjord. So, I mean, he is working his ass off. And I have to say, these two partners that I have, they have demonstrated extreme professionalism. Both of them, both Julian and Sjord, these two are solid professionals. They're young. And I can see a lot of the mistakes that I used to make when I was their age. They're making those same mistakes. And they've got to learn from them. The only I can't, I can bark as loud as I want, but, they're just going to have to learn on their own. But solid team. Solid people here at TR. I have to say, Jojo, man, you went out of your way to find just an absolutely incredible group of people to surround me by. And that's good because remember, I came from the brokerage world. I mean, my normal business dealing day is a guy. I remember my first day, and if I ever write a book, this is going to definitely be a story in it. My first day when I walked into my commodities brokerage house that I just landed this job as a broker, and I was so excited. The first day, the sales manager was sitting there with one of his sort of higher-ups, and they spent the afternoon joking about a Ponzi they were running in Florida. First day on the job! That's what I have to sit and listen to. So that's the real financial services world. We're really, really fortunate here. Seriously. Did I ever tell you about Carlton, Shane? Oh man, Carlton, that guy was a character. That guy, he tried, because keep in mind, most commodity brokerage houses are out of Florida, and he tried to bring a fucking gun into Canada here. He was surprised at the border. He had this big fucking Colt 45, and he's going, they wouldn't let it in. I'm going, like, what's going on? I need my piece. Holy shit. So those are the kind of people that are on the other end of the telephones when you call up a commodities brokerage house, and you're like, oh, I'd like to buy some gold, or I'd like to buy some silver, please. You got to know who you're getting involved with. Okay, wow, man. Brian sure is blabbing away today. What do you think, Shane? Shane's always a good barometer for me. If I'm being over the top, he usually keeps me in line. If I'm doing a good job, he'll affirm that I'm doing a good job. So what do you think, Mr. Meow? Are these people getting any value today? Let's see. More questions. Where's the questions? Okay, let's see what we did here. Okay, so with regard to Dash, believe it or not, that 1 year 50% rule, I don't actually see a problem with that target. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds outlandish, but I wouldn't be surprised if it works its way up there. And besides, isn't Dash like literally I got the impression they're taking over the South American Pizza Hut, the Venezuelan pizza cartel. They're coming in. They're coming in. They're coming in hard. No? Meow? They're coming in. Here they come again. Well, you're from Alaska. All right. Well, we won't hold that against you. Actually, I got a couple American buddies of mine who are trying to trade Canadian stocks. And when I was a VSE broker, we used to, for Americans that wanted to open up an account, we used to have to send them up to the Yukon. And you have to open up a corporate account in the Yukon. that was great. So it's like, I don't know whether you ever been. Well, you're up in Alaska, so you must have been over the Yukon a bit. Oh, man. Days gone by. I tell you, I've done just about every job in this business. Yeah, crazy. Okay, so the the Venezuelan pizza cartel, they're pumping the price up. I mean, that's tongue in cheek. I mean, it seems a little bit of an odd story, but I think that's what pushed the price up there the other day. It's interesting, though, because that will be can you see now how actually we can set up the money laundering system? I'm going to buy my Dash, which, of course, is an anonymous coin. I'm going to go to Venezuela, and I'm going to go to Pizza Hut, and I'm going to buy 5,000 pizzas. Am I going to eat 5,000 pizzas? Doubt it. I happen to own the Pizza Hut location, and I think it's Pizza Hut, or it's one of the pizza outlets. And then I'm just going to maybe I'll pay for corporate services, right? Don't you have to pay annual licensing fees? What do they call that? Oh man, my brain's frozen. When you, franchise fees to Pizza Hut. So, the point being that, the Americans can jump up and down all they want, but if these international countries start doing things like accepting Dash, which is an anonymous coin, the money laundering, you can't get around it. I mean, the Americans, they're going to jump up and down, but there's no way they can stop this. I mean, that's the irony of cryptocurrencies, and I think they know this. So, yeah. I mean, I could see pimping ain't easy. Okay. Pimping in Alaska. Well, no, actually, maybe then pimping in Alaska might be easy. But the poor girl. Oh, Jesus. Now, this conversation is going completely off the rails. Okay. So, am I guaranteeing Dash is going to head straight up to the 50% rule? No. Is it a perfectly realistic price objective, 50% range of the 52-week high and low? Yeah. Does it guaranteed to happen? No. Is it a realistic price objective? It's not unrealistic. What I would say is, if you're expecting Dash to go to new 52-week highs, that might be unrealistic. Okay, man, I'm going to be here all day, and I got to get ready for Liam. So let's keep moving this train forward here. Okay, the more I get into that rabbit hole that is crypto, the more I find people trying to sell their system. Oh, yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Of those, I ran into Crypto Mask and his Market Cipher, all right, which mixes and matches a bunch of indicators and color codes them. All right, are you familiar with it? Nope. Seems to hold water, but then again, I wouldn't know. Okay, I mean, if anything, what I would say, and there's nothing wrong with subscribing to somebody's newsletter. What I would say is, why not build a universe of acceptable ideas? And if this person's newsletter, idea, system, whatever, is spitting up ideas, well, then you go, okay, I can always add that to my universe, that name. And then, and this is where you need to sort of take off the I'm a robot hat and put on the I'm a professional trader and I manage my small business of trading hat. And you need to run the idea by your own criteria. Is this idea that this guy's shilling, is it in good trade location? Is it at the bottom end of the range? Something along those lines? How's the development team? Again, based on your trading plan, what are the criteria that you like to see to get you to invest? Maybe, in crypto space, it's really important to you that you can trust the developers. What? What did he just say? I don't know. Maybe you want to reach out to the development team and get to know them first before you spend your money. Perfectly fine. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to take this idea and I'm going to run it through the screens that I learned at TRI and those setups. And if it corresponds, great, I'll take the trade. If not, no biggie. Maybe you're going to create new setups, new variations. Remember Dav? Dav created a whole setup on his own while in the education program. I liked it so much, I said, let's make you famous and let's tell everybody about this. We'll even call the setup you. I hope you got that message. Probably the most important thing I just said there was, are you a robot or are you a professional managing your own money? I can't answer that. If you're a robot, then fine, take this person's system signals blindly. That's not what I'm teaching you to be in this course. I'm teaching you how to wake up, make decisions on your own. And if you want to, as one of your reasons for taking a trade, I like this gentleman, like his signals. They have to meet his buying criteria to trade. Okay. But I would not recommend going down this guy's got a cool newsletter and a new system. I'm just going to take all his trades. Because then really you're just trading his plan. You're not trading your own plan. And that's not why you're here at TRI. So hope that helps answer that question. It's a good question. The easiest answer to that, I want humans. I want adults. I want rational investors. Don't want robots. All right. This question was asked in the class. I think Grim, to all intents and purposes, did answer it, but I wanted to just add another note. Somebody said, what is shorting? What happens when I short? What are the risks? Grim actually suggested to you level oneers that there's so many long proxies now that are, how do I say this? There are so many proxies out there that go up in price when an asset goes down in value. Excuse me. Like some of these bear ETFs and stuff like that. And options, just being long options for insurance purposes. But you don't really have to get into the business of outright shorting. Understand that when you are quote-unquote shorting, what you're really doing is you're asking your trading desk, whatever firm you're working with, to go out and borrow the asset from someone else. And then you actually go and sell that asset into the marketplace. So in cryptocurrencies, for example, Bitfinex used to have what they call swap rates, so you could actually see how much it would cost for you to go out and borrow, say, Bitcoins and sell them into the marketplace to short Bitcoin. The only problem with that is, number one, as Grim pointed out, for most new people to trading, I wouldn't even think about it. It's not worth it. But you do need a margin account because you are borrowing an asset. You are going to be trading on leverage. So you need to be margin approved. If you want to just avoid all that, just don't bother thinking about shorting. One thing, though, I will say, if you want to buy options, you also need margin approval. So they're kind of the same in that regard. But You will be charged interest on that short, basically it's a loan. And of course, you have to return the asset at some point in the future. If the price of the asset when you return it is higher than where you shorted, then you are net out of money. If the asset price is lower when you return the asset or cover your short, then you've made money. The only problem here is that because it is a borrowed asset, technically, if the asset goes up in price, maybe YouTube, did it kick out? Are we still going here? Oh yeah, we're still going. Because the asset's been borrowed in the marketplace, technically you might have to go and return that asset at substantially higher prices, i.e. unlimited risk potential. And just imagine all those guys who are so smart, who went and shorted Tesla at $10 a share. How do you think they're doing right now? Dope. Thanks, Megan. Yeah, I gotta shut up here, right? Man, I gotta get going. So I just want to talk a little bit about what is shorting. So hopefully I've given a definition of that. What happens when you short? What are you doing in your account? And then what are the risks? Simply put, for you level oneers, you don't need to be shorting. We can go buy a put option, which is really just simple purchase price. Think of it as insurance. You can go buy bearish ETFs. You can be long a short proxy. And even in crypto, like I was looking at BTC USDT long and BTC USDT bear and ETH USDT bear. So you can even buy, although I wouldn't recommend it, but you can even buy. John's, man, I'm outlasting everybody here. They're dropping like flies. Look at all these people. They're all leaving. That's so funny. All right, bye, guys. So there's lots of different long proxies you can use in the stock market. Okay, last question, and then I'll shut the hell up and get ready to give Liam an awesome afternoon. So, if we would see the stock market in general having a huge drop, let's say for weeks, what would be a good option to make money from the market even if we don't have margin account? That's not really a topic specific question. That's awfully general. I could tell you what I bought. I bought SPSX, which is you can go look all this stuff up. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. Not giving you, and really, this question almost feels like you're asking me what to go and trade and what to go and buy and sell. And let's just slip that noose right around Brian's neck, shall we? So whoever asked this question, if you do decide to go do this trade, please understand this is entirely your trade. It's not my trade. I don't want you trading my trades. I want you trading your trades. I bought, what did I buy? Recently I bought some leaps. What the hell did I buy a leap on there last week? Was that on the stock market? I can't remember. What a knucklehead. I buy a lot of stuff. Let's see, what the hell was it I bought? I know I sold some calls at a great profit. Just trying to think about my bear market proxies. I know I bought a, what the hell was that leap that I bought? Hey, why don't we go look in Brian's big bot? See if he said in there what he did. Here, let's see what I bought here. I bought, no, that's a pharma stock, but actually that's a while ago. That's back in September. Let's see what I did here. I was buying some stock. That's no. This is Zach's deep value. So this is buying a real estate company in New York right now, because they're just giving that shit away now. Oh, that's right. So I bought this U.S. dollar. If it goes up and it goes up in a hurry, like through this, that's usually like crisis. Ah, sky's falling. So I think there's a bit of money here to be made on the U.S. dollar. So I went and bought like a leap on the U.S. dollar. That would be sort of a crisis scenario trade. So that's, think of that as insurance. Also too, but it was a while ago, I bought the S&P 500 short proxy, SPSX. Where's the best place to show you that? It's over here. And these are underwater. But actually, I don't mind them at all. I think there's probably a trade, but not just yet. I bought, I think, March, April options. Looking for, 50%. What is this? That's an hourly chart. There we are. So 52-week range, right? So there's the peak there in February, March. That's not a bad idea. Thinking about that. And I buy these ETF shares as well. And then also, what was the Dow? The dogs of the Dow. So I bought a little bit of this ETF. And just throw it in the books. Also, I bought the 48 call options. So you can see that range. So that's covering the Dow, the S&P, and the U.S. dollar. Wouldn't mind buying some Canadian dollar options as well. And I'll watch that. And then, of course, like I said, I've got the June options for the corn and for ETH. So, I got a nice basket. All right. Sure hope that helps answer all those questions. I think we've hit the end of that list, so my job is done here for today. Where the hell did that go? Where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. All right. So I gave you a couple ideas there to chew on. Bitcoin, Ethereum, stock market, either Dow or S&P, and the U.S. dollar index. It's like 5 different proxies. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. So be careful. Don't if you're an accountant or something, do yourself a favor and maybe take a good look at what he's saying. It's fascinating. And then also, like I said, classic anecdote, absolutely classic anecdote of top of the market. So that's exactly what you don't want to see. But, if you want to buy Bitcoins cheaper down the road, you still haven't filled up your basket yet, then actually you do want to see this because you want price to calm down. That's my thoughts. So, okay, I think we'll leave it at that. Hope you guys got some good value out of that. Geez, about 2.5 hours. I think I'll try and shut up now. Wish me luck with the boy this afternoon. If you can take advantage of that Black Friday, Cyber Monday event, I'd love to see you guys in the school program and teach you how to run your small businesses of trading. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. And bye for now.